Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there, and welcome to another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Wherever you are tuning in, we thank you for doing so on CoVA Sports TV and all through our various social media platforms. You can interact with us all morning long on the IG, on the Facebook, on the LinkedIn, on VirginiaPreps.com, the Twitter, the X, and of course through our friends at CoVA Sports TV on YouTube. Also now airing on the television side of things with Cox Communications and Your View. That's right. We are on TV, made our debut, our premiere last week. And if you want to find out what channels they're available on throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia, there it is. Voila. As we have all kinds of great things to bring you on this particular edition of the program. You'll hear from Coach Ed Young, my cohort, in just a little bit. We've got our Ask Coach Young segment back by popular demand. We have, in addition to that, another 5-minute burning topic. We'll dig into some things, horse racing and college football playoff related on those items. In hour number 2, you'll get a chance to hear from Behold the Green and Gold, Norfolk State men's basketball coach Robert Jones. We caught up with him at their team camp here recently. We also will give you a chance to interact with us throughout the morning, but close the show out today with a special Father's Day edition of Fact or Fiction, as my pops will be back with us to compete against Ed Young, who he beat last year on Father's Day, and at the state championship game as he tries to keep his unbeaten record intact against the coach in our 5-question sports trivia contest with a 2-point bonus question at the end. Remember, Ed is going to be bragging about beating Ray Weaver last month in Fact or Fiction. We will have for you a conversation with Maury linebacker Isaiah Ike Simmons, who made his college commitment to Pittsburgh in the ACC. Busy week of commitments with all kinds of football players across the entire Commonwealth of Virginia, including those in the 757. Just last night, Jace Rhodes, defensive back from Norfolk, gave a pledge to James Madison University, the Dukes of JMU, much to my pop's delight because he's a JMU alum. And Green Run with a defensive edge rusher and outside linebacker by the name of Cam Johnson. He has given a commitment to the Hokies of Virginia Tech as that Green Run to VT pipeline continues. And speaking of 757 standouts, you'll get a chance coming up when we go to our first break. After we come back from break, those that missed it last week in hour number 2, we're going to have it for an hour number 1 for our television audience as well. The conversation we did with David Macklin, who starred at Menchville High and Newport News and went on to Penn State before an NFL career. He's got his Glory Days summer spectacular 4-on-4 flag football tournament coming up in Yorktown next weekend. So we want to give you a chance to hear more about that as David is doing some great things to the community and all across the 757. That's going to be at the McReynolds Athletic Complex in Yorktown. And we'll give you a chance to hear what one of David's buddies, Landstown basketball coach Dwight Robinson, told us at the Norfolk State team camp. They won that team camp last weekend. So that's all coming your way, but I want to start things off. And again, you can always interact with us on the various platforms. Any questions you may have through our Facebook, our YouTube channel, you name it. Game number 5, I was going to say game number 4 of the NBA Finals, which sets up a game number 5 coming up on Monday night. Oklahoma City, Indiana Pacers. Heck of a game. Pacers led for much of the contest, but in the end, it was too much Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the others, as a lot of these playoff games come down to the others as supporting cast members. And look, Shai drops 35 points, goes a perfect 10 of 10 from the foul line. They get 27 points from Jalen Williams, 7 rebounds. He was much better than he was in game 3. Alex Caruso comes off the bench, 20 points, 5 steals, immense there. And the Pacers let this one slip away. There's no doubt about it. They were in control, up as many as 10, had a multi-possession lead as the fourth quarter was ticking down under 8, under 6, and then the Thunder started to ease their way back in. And they had a little bit of an ease back in the second period, took the lead, then lost the lead. They got outscored in the first, second, and third quarters. So the Pacers regained it before halftime, revved it back up in the third quarter. And it was going to be catch-up the entire fourth quarter. But the Thunder channeled that inner strength and what they showed in Game 4 in the Western semis against the Denver Nuggets, a previous champion led by Nikola Jokic. And the X factor to me, the ultimate X factor, I tweeted this on X, was without a doubt Chet Holmgren, because he got off to a very good start in Game 3 and then disappeared, went a little MIA in the fourth and final stanza, was 0 for 6 from 3. He didn't hit threes in this game, but he gave him a huge double-double, bigger than his 14 points and 6 of 6 in the foul line. Remember, he cost them a game number 1 in the Western semis against Denver when they had that big lead, lost it late, missed 2 immense free throws. He grabs 15 rebounds, a couple of offensive putback dunks. He was the total X factor. And for all those folks that we've talked about, I'm sure the whole media's talked about the whole Tyrese Halliburton athletic overrated poll. There have been some people out there talking about Chet Holmgren being one of the 2 or 3 most overrated players in the league. Not so much. He was incredibly valuable to complement what the MVP and SGA did. So the Thunder now, instead of going down 3-1, looking like it might not be their title and their time, it's evened up at 2. They go back home for Game 5. Big favorite in Game 5. I think they now will win this series. Was not sure last week and was not sure looking at the end of game number 3, because Indiana has so many different weapons. And the guy who's getting all the criticism on the Pacers side of things is Benedict Mathurin, who missed 3 critical free throws late, as it was almost reminiscent of Nick Anderson for Orlando back in the 95 NBA Finals, game number 1, where they had that one in the bag, lost it in overtime to the Houston Rockets led by Hakeem Olajuwon, and Kenny Smith hit a key 3 late to extend that game to an extra session. But I don't think you can blame Mathurin if you're a Pacers fan, because he gave you a monster Game 3, and you're not up 2-1 in the series. And you got to sometimes take a little bit of the good with the bad. So a little bit of the bad with the good. Anyway, you like to look at it. Hey, the hockey's got a big, and I mean colossal, game number 5 this evening. Edmonton and Florida, the defending champs, deadlocked at 2 apiece. And who saw that comeback coming when the Panthers, a lot of their fans, including one I know quite well, bragging to me about they've got game number 4 in the bag, up 3-0 after 1 period. Goaltender switch for Edmonton. They take out Skinner. They put in Pickard. And the next thing you know, it's 3-3. And Edmonton's up 4-3, about to win it in regulation. And as I'm on the couch dozing, watching the last minute, with 18 seconds to go, Florida's able to shoot one through on Pickard. His one error, and you think, oh, no, that's going to cost Edmonton. They just go back to Canada 3-1. But instead, it's Draisaitl with his 4th game-winning goal of the postseason for the Oilers. He part of that dynamic duo with none other than Connor McDavid, last year's Conn Smythe winner, in spite of a 7-game series loss to Florida, where the Panthers jumped out 3-0, had to go to a Game 7 as the Oilers fought back. But now 2 of 3 would be in home ice for the Oilers, just like 2 of 3 would be on home soil, home court for the Thunder. And I like the Oilers in 7. I think the Thunder could maybe possibly get this done in 6, if not 7 now. But my goodness, we got 2 really good championship series in the basketball and the hockey. Not much today we're going to spend on the spring sports championships. I know there are all kinds of baseball, softball, soccer championships going on this particular Saturday. We'll recap some of it if time allows us next week, as Ed and I will be up at VA Live in Springfield for that. We'll probably sprinkle in maybe a couple of guests if some 757 teams do win championships, and we can connect with their coaches during the week as time allows us that opportunity if we can. I don't love the back-to-back days, especially for pitchers when it comes to baseball and softball. Basketball gives you that gap now, about a week from the state semis to state finals. But we will hit more of that it's such a quick turnaround. A lot of games are going on as we do this show on a Saturday morning. So we'll give you a better chance to maybe look back at it, maybe pop on a guest or two from the media side that does cover it if we can. So all that coming up. So we're going to take a timeout. We've got more coming your way here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. And Ed will join me here in a little bit as we talk to you about all things sports related. Again, hit that like button, that share button, and most importantly, the subscribe button on YouTube to get more here through our channels. And again, the folks at CoVA Sports TV, which will be streaming all kinds of live sports for you from now to the end of time, including Virginia Beach United soccer, I believe, tonight. And if you don't know what that's all about, you'll hear a little bit more about that coming up here in just a moment, right here on CoVA Sports TV.
James Catato tells us tonight there's a new team making new noise in the USL2 scene on the other side of the water.
Something special is brewing inside the walls of the Virginia Beach Sportsplex.
We're not here for moral victories. When we're on our day, we're a legit team.
See the stars of the future in pre-professional action at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. This combined season ticket special is for men's and women's. That's 15 games for just $100 for adults and $80 for youth. VBU has a brand new women's team that competes in the W League. Soccer fans, it's time to rally behind Virginia Beach United. Tickets are on sale now. Visit vbunited.com. Don't miss out on Virginia Beach United.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel with CoVA Sports TV and interact with us wherever you may be tuning in through all of our friends on social media, IG, Twitter, or X as they now call it, Facebook, and of course now also available on the television side through our friends at Cox Communications and YourView. We have a special guest with us. He is a former National Football League defensive back with a number of different teams. It all started for him, though, in the 757 at Minchville High School in Newport News, where he starred in football, basketball, and track before taking his talents to Penn State University. 3-year starter, all Big Ten as a junior, then played for Arizona. Yeah, I'm rocking the Birds there, the Cardinals. Washington, St. Louis, Kansas City, Indianapolis. Hope I'm not forgetting anybody else as we say hello to the founder of Glory Days 4-on-4 Incorporated. You say, what is that? Well, he's here to tell you about all that and so much more. They've got their big day of football coming June 21st. David Maplin. How you been, my friend?
I've been excellent. Thank you for your time, Matt. Man, I appreciate you having me on, and excited for a new year. Our third annual 4-on-4 flag football tournament. We do have a social coming up here this Tuesday, and I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do for the 757 and all the different sports that you are part of and announce, and really keep our 757 and Tidewater area relevant. So I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for that. No, actually, we also enjoy you interacted. You jumped on the show one of the Saturdays way back when Penn State was getting ready for their big matchup with Notre Dame with Coach Young and me. But let's talk about this first before we reminisce about your great days at Menchville and where the Nittany Lions are now in the NFL in general. This Glory Days third annual Summer in Virginia 4-on-4 flag football tournament. It's coming to the McReynolds Athletic Complex. It's scrolling across our ticker now in Yorktown, Virginia. There's various age divisions and groups and registrations. Just tell us about the concept and how it came about, because it's the third annual, which means it's getting bigger and better, it sounds like, from year one and year two.
Yeah. You know, me, as you had stated, you know, playing in the league, and obviously I'll go through that lineup. Was drafted at Indy. Was there 4 years, Arizona 3, Washington, and then KC. But my whole career, obviously through college and playing basketball and football and high school and 1 year in college, has just been all about competing. At the end of the day, the X's and O's are the X's and O's, obviously understanding your assignment, alignment, and then executing. But I found a niche in what we like to do with the 4-on-4 styles. It's separate from the 7-on-7. 7-on-7, I feel like is great for implementation. Obviously, office coordinators getting dialed in on the new season and getting kids acclimated. But I found a space to where kids weren't getting as much reps. They weren't getting as many reps. They weren't getting as much competition moments. So I saw that within 4-on-4. The coaches love it. The kids love it the most because they get a little bit more freedom. They get to formulate their own teams. Parents can formulate a team, get with their best friends. It doesn't necessarily need to be a coach. From 7U all the way up to adults. We've had tournaments to where we had 22 women teams, 39 men teams. So the adult side is huge. Our high school level is the most competitive, I feel like, because those kids are athletic. Obviously got the youth. And then obviously our youth division, obviously 7U up to 13U. It's just phenomenal, the kids having the adults to look up to. So 4-on-4 to me is very dear to my heart. The field's a 64 by 25, 50-yard field plan, and obviously 25-yard width. So it is shrunk down, but it gives the specialists obviously more opportunities to see the ball, make plays on the ball, and get quarterbacks to throw the ball more. So it just makes sense to me. And then lastly, our teams are from 5 to 7 player teams. So you're not getting the 20 team, 7-on-7 team to where you don't know who's going to play. All of the players are going to play, and they leave tired. So that's our goal, is for you to come and get your money's worth, obviously get that work in, and then leave away to where, you feel like you've impacted the community and what we do. There is always a give back to what we do, whether it's an athletic program, organization that we've given back to. So over the past 3 years, we've given over $10,000 to various organizations, and that's our passion. That's what we want to do, and obviously take away from our tournaments and obviously build a legacy to where we can continue to impact young people and also adults living healthy lifestyles through competitive sports. That's our vision and our mission here at Glory Days.
That's so awesome. And again, the folks that want to get involved with this, they can find out more details and also register on glorydays4on4.org. That's glorydays4on4.org. As we'll put it back up on the screen. You can see that QR code as well. The deadline to register is June the 16th, as we talk with former NFL defensive back and Penn State standout of Menchville High School in Newport News, David Macklin, here on 757 Sports Talk. David, it's funny that the 4-on-4 concept is unique because when you think of football now, that's not the traditional 11-on-11 with the pros, the colleges, the high schools, and so on and so forth. You think of 7-on-7, which is so in vogue. But also we've seen in basketball, 3-on-3s become very popular. They have those big tournaments during the summer. So this is sort of a new type of thing. What do you hope the fans, the viewers take away from this, but also the participants, because it is unique and it is something that has some growth to it and it has its little niche, if you will?
Yeah. We're doing a clinic coming up on Tuesday, giving the coaches and youth league coaches and obviously commissioners an understanding of what I feel about 4-on-4 and why I formulated 4-on-4. You mentioned the 3-on-3, hoop it up, and I played 3-on-3 back in the day. It's still a team concept. Obviously, the 4-on-4, everything is still a team concept. But I feel like, obviously, like I said, it's playing a defensive back corner in the NFL. From the offensive side, yes, it's still a team's aspect on the 4-on-4 side. But I feel like on the defensive side, as a corner, you get a chance, and a defensive back and safety, you get a chance to work on your craft a little bit more, get dialed in on the one-on-one situations. Honestly, playing 11-on-11, when I, played in the league, you still have to take care of your assignment. Obviously, understanding where your other teammates are. But when you're out there on the island and you're playing one-on-one, those are the moments that we really like to see corners and defensive back safeties get better, receivers get better, because it is an island out there. And the 4-on-4 aspect gives them a little bit more time, gives them a little bit more chance to pay attention to the details, kind of block out everything else. The ball is coming. It's coming to you. It's either going to one side or the other. The hiker is eligible, so that's a chance for maybe a running back and linebacker to get some one-on-one work too as well. But that ball's coming out quick, and the percentages are more for the ball to be coming to you. So that it's for those corners and those safeties to be that much more in detail. 7-on-7, you kind of don't know where the ball is going to go, whenever it's going to go. You can get. I've seen to where kids are out there 30 minutes and the ball hasn't been thrown to them once. That's not going to happen on 4-on-4. Everybody's going to get that work. That's what I'm all about. And then lastly, coming through coaches like Coach Dungy and other coaches that I've had, when we had one-on-one sessions in practice. Those are the times that you get better. Those are the times the coaches are evaluating. So we need to give kids and we need to give participants that much more time to get better. Those are the times that obviously that translates over to the actual football field and the football game. So, 4-on-4 for me is an opportunity to simulate those one-on-ones, to get more competing moments, to get kids and to understand how to play the ball, to get receivers more catches, get quarterbacks and receivers on the same page. So we're going to talk about that obviously at our clinic and try to, get coaches to buy in. We're not trying to take away from 7-on-7. I know it has its place, but at the same time, I see a lot of coaches at these 7-on-7 events. They're going to need to have 3 or 4 teams on these 7-on-7 events, 5, 6 teams for all of their kids to get looks. And that's not possible. It's possible here at Glory Days. A coach can bring out his whole 1-4 team and have at least 5 or 6 teams, 4-on-4 teams, and all of them are going to get work. So we have our advantages, and we just, hopefully we'll get more and more participation.
It's pretty neat, and definitely those technical aspects do get honed in on. I want to take you back to your days at Menchville. Give me a favorite memory or moment that sticks out. And I know you see it now. You look at these kids and you go, my goodness, I wish I came around in 2025 with NIL and all the things that are out there for student athletes. Then, but I know there was some fun battles in the Peninsula District in the 1990s, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so many, basketball and football. Ronald Curry, Michael Vick, obviously playing against those guys. Allen Iverson, basketball. There's so many games we played in football. I see these kids now, they'll take maybe 1 or 2 clips and blow it up, man. We had each of those players I named, we all had so many clips, man. We could have had a lot of highlights. But, I mean, I would say football-wise, maybe us beating – talked about this on Vic's podcast that we were just on a couple of weeks ago. When we played Hampton, we beat them my sophomore year. I was able to make a play at the end of the game that helped seal the game. And, I was playing varsity there at Mitchfield. But, it was times like that, obviously, my football career. And obviously, junior, senior year, my stats started growing on the defense and offensive side, running the ball. Just so many games, so many battles. I was talking about me scoring 7 touchdowns in one game against Gloucester. That was fun. I hadn't did that. I scored multiple touchdowns in other games, but never maybe 7. I think it was 7, 8, one of them. But high school in general, man, just really got me prepared. Running track meets, just going against guys. Remember going against Green Run with Plexico and them. They had a 4x1 team that was just. They had a bunch of studs that went off to college and ran track. We came maybe like 4th. But we had third or 4th or 2nd, one of them. We had fast guys on our team that ran track all year round too. So it's when you start talking about memories, man, it can go from football, it can go from basketball, it can go from track, man. It just our area, man, and that's why I just really encourage young people to just play, find out what you like, find out what you like. My son is playing baseball right now. I never played baseball, so he's 8 and he's loving it, and I'm getting a chance to understand and learn baseball through him because I never understood baseball. So he's natural. And we can be up here for an hour talking about, high school highlights, man. It's just, it's unfair. That's an unfair question.
No, I hear you. And I appreciate you say that because baseball's got its strategy to it too, just like football and other sports, basketball, you pitch hit here, you sack bunt there, those type of things, lefty on lefty, those type of, you brought up the Menchfield thing and it made me think of beating Hampton in 1993. It hadn't happened again until just a few years ago in 2022. Then they beat them back to back because it's so hard to beat the Crabbers. How about, your alma mater, Penn State, and you played for 2 of the all-time great coaches, Tony Dungy, who you referenced, and also the late great Joe Paterno. But my goodness, came very, very close to the championship game last year, lost to Notre Dame, but James Franklin's got them pointed upwards, and it feels like they're starting to get their footprint back in the 757 NVA on the recruiting front too.
Yeah. Well, when Joe was coming through, man, those guys grabbed a lot of guys as well. I just got off the phone with Mike Robinson. We were talking about the tournament coming up. Mike's doing an excellent job in Richmond with his youth league as well. He obviously had a great career at Penn State and won a Super Bowl in the NFL. But, I go back to Darren Perry. Darren went and came and watched one of my basketball games at Mitchfield when we beat Granby. And just right there and then just seeing somebody who was successful at Penn State. And obviously myself, James Boyd, as you know, and the list goes on of guys who've come through Virginia that went on to Penn State and played, Anthony King and guys that I played with. Just so much pedigree, man. I always had this conversation. You talk about Ronald Curry and Plex, and if we could keep all of our athletes and everybody could have gone to UVA, man. I mean, how much, you got Ronnie Baba, Tiki that all went to Virginia, but you got so many athletes, man, that come out of the 757 to make an impact all over the country. But hats off to James Franklin and those guys for what they're doing. The Virginia side has something to say. The 757 has something to say. Obviously, Northern Virginia. When you play in the league, you play in college, you get those utters about Florida, and I'm here in Atlanta right now, Georgia, Texas. I lived in California as well. Lived in Arizona. Arizona has they have a good. They're still creating their identity. Obviously on the football side, but yeah, man. I mean. From the kid that just got drafted this year, the tight end from Penn State. I mean, they're doing an extra job. I know they've come up to Virginia, down from Pennsylvania to Virginia to ODU a couple of times and done a couple of 1 days. But I think that's just the things you have to do now. I mean, there's enough talent on the East Coast. I'm not sure how much James and them are going on the West Coast to try to find talent, but they're heading in the right direction. And as far as the last year, I was so proud to see those guys compete last year the way that they did. Obviously, going out to California, going to USC, and winning those games out there. It's going to be a tough division throughout the years. I think it's going to, it's moving towards kind of a layout of the NFL where everybody's playing everywhere, and everybody is recruiting on different sides of the coast. And I think now it's just, as you stated, it's a recruiting battle. It's all about that. Obviously, the coaching matters as well, but the recruiting is definitely going to be evaluated, and it's going to be paid attention to very closely. And then lastly, the NIL situation that's on a whole nother level. That's kind of out of my pay range of trying to understand how that all kind of works out, but. I just hope that our young people can get understanding of competing, understanding that adversity, understanding that, even though you might be on the depth chart, on the second on the depth chart, third on the depth chart, that you can work your way up. There's integrity in that. There's humility in that. There's a way that you can, obviously sharpen your iron, sharpen your craft, learning under folks, working at it, getting better, not necessarily bailing out and say, hey, it's a better situation over here. You don't know how that situation may pan out. I feel for these kids now because, they leave and they get to somewhere and the other coach leaves that brought them there. So now you have to deal with, a system to where a coach, you might want to go to another school and the coach is just like, well, you're hopping all over the place. Yes, it may work out for some certain people. It may work out in people's favor to go somewhere else and they drafting into the league, but that's how many stories is that out of hundreds and hundreds of kids that are transferring back and forth. So I just hope that NCAA can get a hold of this thing to where kids can get more rewarded once they declare to the next level, so to say, or maybe junior or senior year. I just think for kids at a young age, freshman year, sophomore year, for them to be hopping all around, I just feel like it's doing themselves a disservice, and obviously the coaches and the universities and it's just on another level with when you start talking monetary wise. It's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, I think there'll definitely be some good ways to improve the sport with some guidelines and regulations. They've been not, changed up entirely because it's already that toothpaste is out of the tube, if you will. But you brought up an interesting, good point, and I think it's what we'll finish up with here, David, that, if you all went to one school, it would have been amazing. But I think that's the one thing that the brotherhood in the 757, that people like yourself that have walked in big shoes, and we see so many different pro athletes that come back and give back. It's important to represent its area on a local, statewide, and even bigger scale, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think we all take a pride in that. Coming from the 757, keeping those relationships over the year. But one thing about it that I can say, it has taught us how to work and how to grind, and we've built a certain pedigree in the 757 that, not only stays here in Virginia. Well, in Virginia, I'm in Georgia right now, but moves all around, whether it's nationally or internationally. And it's good to have that camaraderie to where we can all see each other in another area, another state, another country, whatever, and just say, hey, man, we come from somewhere special. And we were able to build something special. We were able to build off the backs of giants like Lonzo Mourning and Ralph Sampson and guys, DJ Dozier, guys who came before us that were able to set, a tone. So you got people like Boo Williams and God rest his soul, Coach Tommy Raymond, other coaches around the area. My father, Mike Smith over at Hampton that built a legacy. You got Blunt now that's at Phoebus that's building a legacy. Coaches, Coach Kozlowski. I mean, we can go down the list. Coach Breyer over at Hampton. My high school coach, Coach Greg Henderson, Pop Pitts, Ben Moore, Coach Katufis. I mean, you want to start naming names. You got Coach Dwight Robinson over at Landstown, to Cadillac. I mean, you got so many coaches, so many people that have impacted young people and impacted lives of great athletes all over the country that, we can sit here for hours and talk about. So it's something to be proud of. And it's up to us as former athletes, current athletes to carry the torch. And, one way that I like doing that and what I like to stay true to is competing, whether you're competing on the field, whether you're competing in business, whether you're competing in any kind of industry that you're in. Obviously, media is very competitive. That's what we do at Glory Days. And we want to do that and allow people to have fun. But we also want to do it with a purpose. We also want to do it to where not only our kids competing, not only our kids competing, but that we're able to have a give back. And then obviously from that give back, a kid and a coach can say, hey, that kid got better. That kid got better today. So that's all you can hope for.
That's awesome. Well, hey, go check it out. Coming up on June the 21st at the McReynolds Athletic Complex. You don't want to miss it. Yorktown, Virginia, the Glory Days, 3rd annual Summer Days in Virginia 4-on-4 flag football tournament. They've got the social coming up for the coaches. We'll show it back on the screen again here. Get that QR code out, get the phone, and voila, you're right there with all the info in front of your fingertips. $250 per team. Should be a fun atmosphere and a great time out there. And again, if you want to find out more, glorydays4on4.org is the website, and you can get some in touch, in close personal tutoring from the former NFL DB who once took a 60-yard pick to the house for the Arizona Cardinals, played for the Colts and so many other teams, also stand out at Penn State after his days at Menchville High School in Newport News, David Macklin. Thank you so much, my friend. Hey, who was the guy you victimized for that 60-yard pick 60? You remember? Back when was it 2005?
Yeah, I had a couple of them. I think I don't know. That was in Tennessee. I forgot who that was. I should know that. I should know that. But,
not the late McNair, though. It wasn't Steve McNair. He was
we beat them. We beat them a few times.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to tell the people out there.
Sure. You
can register online, like Matt was saying, www.glorydays4on4.org. That's www.glorydays4on4.org. We will have free merch there at our social Tuesday from 5:45 to 7:45 at Park Lane Tavern there in Hampton, Virginia. And I wanted to tell parents out there, any parent can register a team, whether it's 5 to 7 players. It needs to be 5 to 7 players. We don't need, it doesn't necessarily have to be coaches. 7U up to adults, high school level. You can go online and check it out. And then lastly, come out and be ready to have some fun. We're looking for more women, more girl teams to come out. We want to see our women teams come out there and have a good time. The girls are doing a great job with flags. So we're encouraging young people to come out, girls and boys, and have a good time.
Should be an outstanding one there for the Glory Days, 3rd annual Summer Days in Virginia 4-on-4 flag football tournament. Again, the website to find out more details on how to register, glorydays4on4.org. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm sure we'll be in touch, and have a good one.
Absolutely, Matt. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
You got it. That is the one and only David Macklin, former NFL defensive back and standout for the Penn State Nittany Lions out of Menchville High in Newport News, Virginia, here with us on 757 Sports Talk. We've got more coming your way. Don't touch that dial. You're watching CoVA Sports TV.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
At Rush Soccer, our love of the game and the community we create doesn't stop when we leave the pitch or when the season ends. We are more than an individual player, team, club, or league. We are a truly global community of athletes, parents, coaches, professionals, and fans. We believe that youth sports and the pathway to a lifelong love of soccer have the power to form deep, meaningful connections that will fundamentally shape our players and those in our community. We believe that what we feel is the key to what we can achieve. Feel the pride. Feel the confidence. Feel the legacy. Feel the connection. Feel the trust. Feel the acceptance. Feel the purpose. Feel the difference. Feel the rush.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
I think I got the hiccups from eating spaghetti too fast. Hey, Alexa, can you get hiccups from eating spaghetti too fast?
From clevelandclinic.org. A random hiccup might happen if you eat too fast or drink fizzy pop.
It had to be that because I didn't drink fizzy pop. Didn't do it. Thank you, Cleveland Clinic. We've got more 757 Sports Talk coming your way with yours truly and a guy who never eats too fast, but he might get hiccups. Coach Ed Young. It's on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, so there you have it. We're going to ask Coach Young some questions now here with the Ask Coach Young segment on 757 Sports Talk, which is streaming all the time on CoVA Sports TV and through all our social media outlets available through Cox Communications and YourView TV all across the state as well. All right. You haven't had spaghetti. You don't have hiccups, do you?
Haven't had spaghetti in a bit, surprisingly. And no, I haven't had hiccups in a while either. And I have not had fizzy pop, I think, ever.
Okay, good to know. Our question today comes from Betsy in Norfolk. What can horse racing do to salvage the Triple Crown? All right, Betsy, we appreciate that. And for those that didn't see it, on the last Saturday, the Belmont transpired, and it featured Sovereignty, as you pat yourself getting it right. I know you want all that credit, all that shine, all that prop. Ended up winning it. Sovereignty, which won the Kentucky Derby, skipped the Preakness. Now the Belmont. We understand because of the horse racing conditions now and how they're, worked. It's different for them as far as the time in between races and for the financial aspects, ever since some of the sponsors are no longer attached to it. I think MasterCard was on them. It's not as big a deal for the Triple Crown, but what can it do to salvage this, Ed? People have suggested, horse racing experts and those that are entrenched in the sport, to space it out more, from the Derby to the Preakness and the Belmont. What's your take? How do they fix this?
Well, first of all, thanks, Betsy from Norfolk. I love it when the ladies chime in, and we're hoping for more ladies on the show. And maybe with us being seen on Your View in Cox Communication Network, we'll get that. What can be done? I think it's two things. Number one would be the spacing out of the three big races: Kentucky Derby, Belmont, Preakness. And you can't overwork these horses. Now, I know people are going to say, well, they did it in the past. You had Triple Crown winners way in the past and whatever. But once again, it's the past. Almost can equate this to baseball, when we used to have 300-inning pitchers, which you'll never see again. If a pitcher goes 5 innings, starting pitcher goes 5 innings, that's success. Back in the day, that was horrible if you didn't get a lot of complete games. I think you have to consider the health of the horses, no question about that. And I don't fault trainers saying it doesn't behoove us to run this only because people want us to run, because we won the previous one of the Triple Crown heads, and people want to see us win the Triple Crown. So I would say space them out more. What works for majority of horses is a 2-week break, 3-week break, month break, and then be able to run that. Or number two, reconfigure the Triple Crown. You got to keep Kentucky Derby in. To me, that's a definite. But I'm not so hooked on the Belmont or the Preakness. Has to be one of those legs. Put something else in there if they're not going to agree to space them out. And from what I'm understanding, spacing them out is not an answer a lot of people want to hear, or the owners of those tracks want to hear. That it's not as easy as people say. I'm not well versed in it, even though I picked 1, 2, and 3 in the Belmont. Yes, I did.
Journalism. You had journalism right there. And what a finish that race was, wasn't it?
By the way, I didn't put a dime, any shekel at all on it. So
that's your fault.
Up. Yeah, that's my stupidity.
Yeah, it really is. So there you have it. That's our Ask Coach Young. And as always, if you want to send in questions for Ask Coach Young, all you got to do is drop us a line, hit us up on YouTube, CoVA Sports TV, hatfieldsports@gmail.com. Find us, and we'll use one of your questions, perhaps. And you never know, you might get a free Virginia Preps Classic t-shirt or some kind of goodie item out of it. All right, more coming your way at 757 Sports Talk. Tune in, like, share, and subscribe to CoVA Sports TV. More to come. Stay tuned.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis, but if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation.
Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and interact with us wherever you're tuning in through IG, Facebook, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, VirginiaPreps.com, and also through the television eyes on Cox Communications and Your View. And Ed, the countdown to the start of high school football in 2025 continues, and we caught up another player to watch who recently finalized his plans for the next level.
Yeah, you got a chance to talk to a really good one, Isaiah Ike Simmons, a standout linebacker for the Maury Commodores. Engaging young man, you got a chance to speak to him about his commitment, where he's going. I'm a little excited to hear this because I think it's somewhere I know very well about. Let's see what he had to say when you ask him here on CoVA Sports TV.
I'm here with Maury, class of 2026 linebacker Isaiah Ike Simmons, three-time All-State performer who recently made his college commitment to the Pittsburgh Panthers in the ACC. Ike, congrats on the commitment. Tell us what made you choose the Panthers and to do so now.
Honestly, everything between the coaches, the scheme, the placement, the city, the development, the guys they're producing, NFL talent, and the unique opportunities that they represent. Being next to the Steelers, so a lot of people don't know that. They're right next to the Steelers. Yeah. My first day at OVs, I watched their OTAs. It was lit.
What'd you see from that? Because you mentioned the city of Pittsburgh with the Steelers, known for defense, and I think quietly kept the Panthers under Coach Pat Narduzzi, and even before him, have produced a lot of NFL guys defensive. That had to appeal to you, didn't it?
Yes, sir. It was amazing. I instantly got out there after they fed us and everything. I got to see Patrick Queen do his individual drill. So just unique experiences like that. Like if you want a guy like me that wants to make it to the next level, you just see those guys, copy them, do what they do, see how they move.
You had a lot of good opportunities. I know you had some other official visits planned. Are those still on the table? Or are you 100% sold with Pitt? What made them different from other places that wanted you and were making you a priority?
The love is different up there, and I was just weighing my options every second that I was there, deciding what could I do, what better could I get at a different school, different program, and they topped every list.
Sure. For Pitt fans, you're going to put on your tape. I mentioned three-time All-State linebacker. You led this team in tackles as a freshman here at Maury. What are they going to see from you on film, and what are they getting in you in a football player?
Dog influence and accountability, nothing but.
And in terms of what's different about your game from last year to now, I know we talked about one of the things you were harping on and getting better at was setting blocks. How do you think that went? You played alongside some really good players, and you remained very productive for your team, and you won another championship.
Yes, sir. Just getting stronger, being more aggressive in the run, and playing fast. It's just the game slows down. The game slows down when you get older, so it's only getting better from here.
I mean, it feels like watching you out here in 7-on-7 with your team competing against other teams from around the 7-5-7. You're calling out a lot of things you're going to be in checks and coverages. How much is that with Coach Doreen McCain and your D coordinator Mike Privet and the whole coaching staff? They trust that in you now getting ready to be a senior captain and knowing the defense in and out lane. You've soaked it up like a sponge. How much is that something you take pride in?
I'd say pride in since day one. Honestly, that's the reason I played early as a Commodore. I knew the whole defense inside and out, so it made opportunities early for me to get on the field.
Sure.
I pride myself very much on knowing the whole defense. I can tell anybody what they have, any play. So, yes, sir.
Good deal. A few more let you run here. How about Pitt? You know what you're going to study there in college? Have you gotten an idea yet? Or
kinesiology.
Okay.
Exercise science.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
And for you this coming year, you guys got back-to-back rings. You just had your ring ceremony. That feels good to get the bling. But three-peat, that'd be something historic.
Yes,
something about how you're
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day.
This is 7-5.
So, What makes a life a good one?
Some other good linebackers in defense.
You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Studs in your front seven, like Fred Johnson, who's at South Carolina,
Yes,
like
sir.
Carlton Smith, who's at Maryland, been state player of the year. And I imagine that's something, even though it's not about individual goals and accolades, you would love to get that and get another ring, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir. Even though it's not about me, I would love to win Defensive Player of the Year, but the end goal is always a championship. That's what I play for.
Mm-hmm. What can we expect out of your defense and you in that defense? Because last year, quietly kept Maury puts up a lot of numbers, but you pitched a shutout in the state championship game, which hadn't happened in like 15, 20 years.
So expect nothing but the same, if not even better. Shutouts all year. That's what we're going for.
Sure. And having the commitment out of the way, does this allow you to play loose and free this coming year? And I know you had like 87 tackles, and in 3 years you've amassed 177 tackles. So does this kind of let you kind of play like a, I don't want to say reckless abandon, but kind of just play like a caged dog, if you will, like out of the cage? What do you think?
I will say being committed does feel amazing, and it is a weight off my shoulders outside of football. But when I'm here, I'm not worried about anything. I'm going to play the same, play even faster.
Fast, physical, and ferocious Isaiah Ike Simmons of the Maury Commodores, defending two-time state champs and now a Pittsburgh Panther. Thank you so much. Congrats again.
Sir, thank you.
So that was Maury's Ike Simmons, chatted about his commitment to Pitt in the ACC, had more than a dozen offers at including in-state schools like UVA and Virginia Tech, but they'll have to face him now as a conference foe. Your thoughts?
Excited surprise. Anytime Virginia Tech is on an in-state kid, you think, that's probably where they're going to go. Of course, me personally, I'd like to see our better kids or anybody stay in state. But this one's a little different. Pittsburgh, one of my favorite cities, a place I love going to, hour and a half from my hometown.
For those that know, your hometown is?
Clearfield, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Small place in central PA. Nittany Valley areas, Penn State fans. It's funny because Pitt and Penn State, in Pennsylvania, you're either a Penn State fan or a Pitt fan. But, and it's funny how he said he picked it because, the city, the Steelers are there. He got to watch OTAs. Now I just, okay, is he going to stick with that commitment? Because sometimes kids on their first pick get excited. They're wanted. There's hugs and this and that. And, hey, I'm going here. And then they calm down, get away from all the hubbub. And then all of a sudden I'm going to change my commitment for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Of course, nowadays that reason a lot of times is the money situation, what they were offered to come. Other back in the day used to be just a scholarship. So that remains to be seen. But he sounded so sure of himself. He spoke well about it, excited. When I kept watching that interview and I kept thinking he's a linebacker. He's a linebacker, but he looks like a wide receiver, maybe a cornerback. But obviously they'll bulk him up in time. He did make a key point about, hey, it felt good to be committed. Now I can enjoy my senior year, which is big for a lot of players. Get all that mess out of the way. Concentrate on the field right there during basketball season. Concentrate on the court instead of worrying about where you're going because people are in your ears and all that. So excited for him, and I really hope it works out.
More to come here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Stay tuned. You're watching CoVA Sports TV. Now a word from those that help make it possible.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
CoVA Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Bless you, Ed Young!
All right, back here on 757 Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV, and wherever you're tuning in here through our social media channels. We thank you for doing so also with Cox Communications and Year Review TV. Ed, it is now time for our 5-minute burning topic. Are you ready?
I think I am ready.
You think you are ready for the 5-minute burning topic. And here it comes for today as we set the timer and get it going. Today's 5-minute burning topic: is it time to eliminate conference championship games for the college football playoff if the CFP expands to 16 teams? They went from 4 to 12 teams. What do you think?
I'm going to agree with the elimination of it. Let's think why we have conference championships. Number one, TV, money, which is the commissioner of all sports right now, money.
Yeah.
So you go to 16. What does conference championship game really do? If you're the SEC and it's Alabama against Georgia, both teams, win or lose, are getting in the tournament. Okay, the playoff. Championship playoff. The question is, the losing team of those two, how far do you drop them down? You can't put them above them, so they have to be dropped down. So if Alabama beats Georgia, is Alabama 1? And then maybe the Big Ten winner is 2, Big 8 winner is 3, and now we put the loser for the SEC up there, or maybe the SEC loser becomes number 2 in the country. So you look at it now, but you look at like an ACC, who is definitely the weaker of those power conferences. So if Clemson's playing Miami, the loser of that has more to lose dropping down. It's an extra game where maybe some other teams wouldn't be playing. Actually, if you eliminate all conference championships, nobody's playing that weekend. You're still practicing, resting up, so to speak, and there you go. Because you can't hold players out. All right, we don't really care about a conference championship. We're already in. We're going to rest our players. Well, now if you rest your players, your better players, probably going to lose. And again, will that drop you all the way down? Whatever. So I would like to think, based on why conference championships were first put in, and I still say strictly money, eliminate them because both those teams are going to get in the tournament anyways, and they're going to get their money.
Well, I hate to agree with you, because we disagreed last week on Tom Thibodeau. Knicks, should he have been fired or not? And I will tell you that it does feel counterproductive to get rid of conference championship games, because oftentimes that would be the auto bid process, especially if this CFP expands to 16 teams as expected in 2026. They're talking about a 5+1 format, which is a little bit more complicated in terms of how they're going to make it all mesh and fit. The 5+1 model is favored by the Big 12 and ACC. It's gaining some support from the SEC. The Big 10 is favored a 16-team model, which most qualifiers gain the entry through the auto bid process. But look, I'm with you on the same page here, Ed. What good does it do if you're an ACC or a Big 12 team? Your Kansas States, your Arizona States, your Clemsons, your Miamis, if you are slotted to make that college football playoff, no matter how many teams it is, we've gone from 4 to 12, it's expected to go to 16. If you're expected to get in and you lose that conference championship game, and now it bumps you out because the behemoths, which are the SEC and the Big Ten, they eat from the whole table. They're going to get in with multiple teams, as you said. I think it puts them at a disadvantage. So I'm of the opinion now that I don't know that we need them. I think they're becoming more irrelevant than ever before. And that's unfortunate for the sport, even though this college football playoff has become such a big sensation where they have a show weekly around mid-season that's shown on the worldwide leader through ESPN that's got so much build-up and buzz and pizzazz to it.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're entering an era where so many things are changed because of the money, transfer portal, NIL, the new agreement now where $2.8 billion or so is going to be shelved out to all the schools. So why are we still hanging on to conference championships? I'll go a step further. I like them, but what is the necessity of basketball conference playoff? Well, again, in the back in the day, it was to get another team a chance to get into the tournament.
That's another discussion. Another time, it's a 64, 68 team tournament, and it slots in your mid-majors to get in the big dance, where that opens up Pandora's box for you and all your mid-majors that you want to see in that don't get in. All right, that's going to close out this topic. We've got more coming your way on 757 Sports Talk. It's CoVA Sports TV. Don't touch that dial and stay tuned.
Taylor with the rebound all the way down the court to the north, and he hits the layup.
And there is Julius Irving. Look at that move behind the back. Oh!
The Doctor, the Iceman, the champions and Hall of Famers of the future. The nexus of today's brand of pro ball got started in the most unlikely of places.
We did bring the playground into pro ball, and the playground's never going to leave.
It was great for me because it gave me a chance to open up and, play that run and that gun style of basketball.
The NBA was putting out their press releases that this is a Bush League, that this is a clown league. When you got on a team, boy, hey, wait a minute, these guys can play, and these guys can play good basketball, and not only that, it's fun.
This is the story of one small market team with the kind of talent few teams have ever possessed. When these players got together, they shook up the world of basketball.
I think it just tells the truth. We're really watching the evolution of basketball in the first person, and we were really happy and proud to be a part of that.
What we're seeing is what this little team did down here. This big team up here is doing the same thing.
Well, you see a big part of history. If you're a basketball historian.
Not only for the fans, but I think for the NBA player today, to know the roots that the game came from, to know those that made the game that they're playing today, that they have a chance to go on and try and improve it. I think that's really important. I think this film can give them that perspective.
It's the inception of the way the NBA is playing now.
It's a film about brotherhood. This is the guy I depended on, he depended on me, and that's a bond that can't ever be broken.
The Dream Makers, a revolution in basketball.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough. Keep me from you. Oh. Welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. No, it's not in the pool, but it's Hatfield and Young on CoVA Sports TV. Baby, I need your lovin'. Got to have all your lovin'.
All right, we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Always good to take a dip in the pool, and Ed shakes his head, but he gets a chance to see. Oh, go ahead.
Quickly to the new Your viewers. Be patient. The Fool in the Pool segment, as I call it, is not rampant. Yes, you see no kids there. All the women they all ran out of there when he jumped in. Just bear with it. We even have some listeners who like it because there's something wrong with them too. But
wow.
Don't get upset. Your viewers, don't tune us out. Keep coming on. And I'll work on my end to eliminate that. I'm trying to get number 47 to write one of those direct orders to eliminate it. So we'll see what happens.
Alienate our audience. Well, anyhow, we're going to hear now from a basketball coach who's closing in on that 500 win plateau like you got there. He got 400 plus a couple years ago, and his team was victorious in a hoops camp at Eccles Hall this past week.
Yeah, you got a chance to speak to a good one. Dwight Robinson, the head coach, longtime head coach of Landstown, Golden Eagles. And yes, he is closing on 500. I think he right now, since I'm on hold, he's the winningest active career-wise coach in the area. And he's going to get there, no doubt. Got a great young team led by his son at the point guard, be rising sophomore. But you got a chance to see them at the team camp at Norfolk State, and they won it. And let's see what he had to say to you about that here on CoVA Sports TV.
I'm here with Landstown head basketball coach Dwight Robinson as Eagles win the Norfolk State team camp here in June of 2025 by edging Norview 51-49 in the finals. Coach, 6-0 weekend, not too shabby. Still a lot of underclassmen, but a chance for you guys to bond, develop, and continue to grow, right?
Yeah, we're young and we're still trying to learn. We got some guys that are didn't see much time last year as freshmen or sophomores, and trying to get them into the fold and just trying to figure out lineups and who can do what right now. So it's fun. We just need to have some floor experience together this week before we go to the live period.
Yeah, and it feels like the thing that you guys hang your hat on two things. One, the chemistry, which is a factor on both ends of the floor, and defensively, you guys can turn people over and lock down when you have to. Even in this age where you have off-season graduations, transfers, to have about 8 or 9 guys that saw minutes or was on varsity, JV, familiar with your program from a state Final Four run, how much does that help when you go to a setting like this in camp and try to get ready for the season in the winter?
Yeah, a lot, because they don't really get rattled too much, and like we got down early against them, and slowly but surely we execute a couple plays, got a couple turnovers, and we're pretty unselfish right now. And so we want to, that's what we want to build on. I think our strength is going to be our defensive pressure, then our ability to share the basketball and be unselfish. I think each individual guy is starting to get a little bit better and adding things to their game. And then we have guys like Jeremiah, who came up big for us today, who saw no time last year. And so we got some guys in Sae as well. Those guys, they played a lot of minutes because Josiah and Chase were down. They were hurt. So, we're just trying to figure it out, man, and it's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, it's a grueling time when you get to a tournament. You got to play 3 or 4 games back-to-back. You're missing a couple guys. I know Keon Mitchell, Fats for them, got hurt first half. But one of your headliners, certainly your son, sophomore, Damian Robinson, who was first-team All-State a season ago. Really, the standout moment to me of this tournament was Saturday night. He going mano-a-mano back and forth with another good sophomore, and Isaiah Goodson from Princess Anne in the championship. His shot wasn't falling, but he got his teammates involved. He had about 5 assists. Just what have you seen from his maturation freshman to sophomore year? And he's also showing some other elements to his game too, right?
Yeah, he's so much stronger right now. He's a little bit more explosive. Our thing for him right now is to just get everybody else involved, whether his shot's going or not. Really been working on him, just distributing, finding guys, including them in the offense. We know that a lot of guys are going to try to load up and say, oh, well, he's the leading scorer, X, Y, and Z. And so he's playing more point right now, and he's really getting in the paint. I think that's probably the biggest improvement. It's hard to keep him out of the paint right now, and he's finding guys and he's making guys better.
You mentioned Jeremiah Fajota, number 24 for you, and also number 12, Saya Sudan. 2 other guys that played big roles for in this championship went over Norview. Rashad Shaw, sort of the 1-2 punch with Dame as that class of 2028, I think it is. Yep. And then Alon Walker and Saya. What have you seen from those 2 guys? Because both hovered around double-double in this championship game.
Yeah. Steady improvement. A lot of expectations for both of them. Shai was second-team All-Region this past year. We expect him to take another step. But, Alon being a starter, he played pretty well down the stretch in the region state tournament. We're really expecting a big jump for him this year. Knock on wood, keep him away from injuries. He's our biggest guy. He really is athletic. He's gotten better with his hands. Footwork's gotten better. We just got to keep him from fouling, getting in foul trouble right now. But those 2 guys, a lot of expectations for those guys to make another jump in their growth and for us next year.
Lastly, Landstown has an identity, a standard, and expectation, which you hit on a little bit there, and having 2 freshmen that started on a team that made the state, certainly in Class 6, you'll have a target on your back again. Give me some things you kind of harp on as you go from the summertime to the fall and into the winter as you guys look to be a factor yet again in Class 6.
Yeah, just execution and sharing the ball, and really respecting each other's role. Like each one of those guys, they have a different type of game. Respecting what each one does and they bring to the table, and then we'll be able to put those pieces together and really make something special. And so that's kind of why Dame is trying to take on a different role in terms of being a distributor. Chase is our leader in terms of defensive pressure and things of that nature. So those guys buying into their role and being really good in their role. And I think those pieces will fit together and we'll be all right.
Well, unbeaten run here in June at Norfolk State team camp for Dwight Robinson and the Eagles. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
All right, thank you.
So that was Dwight Robinson of the Landstown Eagles, his team a winner at Norfolk State's team camp, beating Norview in the championship. Perfect 6-0 weekend, Ed, as they will be, if not the favorite, among the favorites in Class 6 next winter, with those two sophomores leading the way in his son Damian Robinson and Rashad Shaw, among some other key pieces that are getting better and better.
Well, I definitely think he's going to be there. That team's going to be there come in February, March. Good chance to see them even in Richmond. I put that much pressure on them. I think they can handle it. Coach hit it just right. It's early. You're just looking at your kids. You're moving some of those bench kids up, trying to see if they can figure a role out. Kids like Dame and Shaw, the guys that had big roles last year, can they improve their game? And he did mention about being more physical. This is that time. Weight room is extremely important. Get stronger so you can add to your game. He hit it perfectly as to what you're doing right now. Yes, you'd like to win. It's even greater when you can win now, but that's not the major thing. It's play those minutes, throw those kids out there, play those kids up from JV a little bit who have to get in that bench spot. So they're right on the right track, and now he'll move into Virginia Live this coming weekend, which will be even a stronger event.
More to come. Stick around. You're watching 757 Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, now, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
All right, we are delighted to be joined by the head men's basketball coach of the Spartans of Norfolk State University. Behold the green and gold, Robert Jones, coming off another MEAC championship. And congrats, Coach. 3 in the past 5 years. Doesn't get old for you there at Norfolk State, does it?
No, it definitely doesn't get old.
you're always excited to go to the NCAA tournament. Hopefully we keep it going.
Well, and we're here at your first of 2 team camps you have in the summertime at NSU at Eccles Hall. Not a lot of schools continue to do team camps, but you guys do it. Why so?
Well, for a couple different reasons. One, to expose some kids to our campus, that might not even know that our campus exists. Expose parents to our campus that might not know really what our campus, really has to offer, and just for evaluation purposes too. We do look at the kids that some kids that are playing actually have offers. Some kids are kind of on that brink. Yes, we still do recruit high school kids. It's not as much as maybe before, but we still do recruit high school kids. So this is a all-around tool for us to see everybody in one setting. And then, of course, for the high schools, it's, good competition. Right now our June camp is our smaller one because it's a kind of a warm-up to the live periods and things like that. Our August is our big camp. So, it's good for these schools out here. There's been a lot of competitive games. And the 11 teams that we do have, or 11 teams that we got, was, they've been pretty good basketball.
You just wrapped up your 12th season as the head men's basketball coach here at Norfolk State, taking over after Anthony Evans took the program to the NCAA tournament, had the big upset of Missouri. I see Kylo Quinn now is a part of the athletic program, still walking around with smiles ear to ear. And you were named initially an interim head coach, and my goodness, you've now set records as a head coach. It's hard to believe it's been 12 going into 13 years. What's kept you here, and could you have believed back then that you'd still be here doing what you're doing? No,
I couldn't believe that I'd still be here. But I think that there's been opportunities to leave. Like I always say, with success, come suitors. So people have come knocking about trying to leave and things like that. Some situations haven't always been the right situation. Some situations that maybe were the right situations I didn't get. So it's been a combination of 2 things. And of course, the people here. Dr. J, the president, Melody Webb, the athletic director, my staff. The administrative staff around here. Everybody is great. So it's hard to just get up and leave for anything. It has to be the right situation. And if that right situation happens, then it's great. If not, this is a right situation right now. So this is great for me.
Well, and of course, it's neat for you to get a chance to watch your son compete up close and personal. Justin is one of the top players in the area, just finished up his junior campaign in Atlantic Shores. How cool is it for you? And as a father, I asked to a lot of dads. I was just talking to Michael Kadire recently, former Major League Baseball star. How helpless is it out there when you can't go out there and do the things but as a coach, a dad? What is it like watching them play?
It's definitely been interesting the last few years because now I'm able to actually watch him in team camp, watch him in live period. Before it was like he would play, 7th grade, 8th grade tournaments, which is like I'm just there just to be there. But now it's kind of like he's a part of my recruiting, So that's pretty cool. And to see him ascend to being mentioned, as one of the area's, top players, and I know he's got a lot of accolades individually himself, has been fun to watch because he isn't a kid that has been just God-given blessed. Everything that he's obtained has been through hard work. So, it's exciting, and he's going through his own recruiting, right now. So that's fun and interesting, and stuff like that. So it's cool.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's a foregone conclusion he plays for Potts, but it's not always the case necessarily these days in intercollegiate athletics. For you, it's certainly interesting when you look at the big picture of college athletics. You touched on it briefly about just now people think about you don't recruit high school kids anymore. You go through the transfer portal, JUCOs, and we just had this NCAA house settlement where athletes can get paid directly. What are your thoughts on where we are, the pros, the cons, and what do you feel if there's some changes that should be made now moving forward?
I'm just not sure that the genie's going to be able to go back in the bottle. I think that it should have been tailored a little differently early. The kids should have got paid, plenty of, for years, I should say, right? But it should have probably been a cap earlier, because the kids were, they were making $0, unless it was some, funny transaction going on, right? But if you would have capped to say, if you were able to make $100,000, right, the kids would have took that. They would have been happy about that because there's a lot of grown people that can't, make $100,000 and things like that. So the kids were able to do that. But now when you got kids making millions of dollars and it's like, how do you go back and cap it now? After you've seen, I know Cooper Flagg, he made $28 million. Well, not in 1 year, but he had $28 million worth of deals in 1 year. It's like, how do you go back and cap it now? So it's going to be interesting to see how settlement's going to be. I think it's going to be really interesting for smaller schools like Norfolk State, because I think the bigger schools, honestly, I'm always transparent. A lot of this has been going on for years anyway, just hasn't been legal, so they're just playing now in a legal space. But kids getting paid at a place like Norfolk State hasn't been going on for years. So now I think that kids are expecting to now get paid when they come here. So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens and how that goes on, for smaller schools. I think the big schools will be fine. They're going to figure it out. They got the money, they got the resources, they got the boosters. But how are the smaller schools going to figure this thing out?
Well, I think one of the things that makes you beloved by Spartan Nation out there is that the authenticity you present. You're genuine about speaking your mind. You're outspoken about things. How have you had to adapt, you and your program, to all this and adjust with the times and things? Because it is easy for bigger schools to go poach your student athletes and get those guys that are putting up numbers at Norfolk State and reap the benefits of it moving forward.
Well, we've had it, 2 years in a row now at this point. We always joking and we say if Joe Bryan was around in his age, there's no way we would have kept him for a back-to-back player of the year. He was
kid out of Lake Taylor, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he was his back-to-back player of the year stuff happened at the beginning of this NIL stuff. So the amounts weren't super, crazy. So like some of the amounts that he might have been offered wasn't enough for him to leave happy, right? Mm-hmm. But now when kids are getting, $800,000, $1 million, I mean, we've had kids leave our program. One kid gets $800,000, one kid gets $350,000, another kid gets $150,000. It's like Joe would have got all of that plus more being back-to-back player of the year. So it's definitely a different space that we're in right now. We're still trying to navigate it. We do have NIL, contrary to popular belief. It's like it might not be as much as people, as some of the numbers you hear, but we do have NIL money, so it's going to be interesting to see how we go forward with this.
Exciting times at NSU because certainly you've kept this program rolling. You're winning, you're competing, and you're playing, teams outside the conference. You're not afraid of anybody, and we'll get to a matchup you've got scheduled here coming up for the next couple of years. Yeah. But Michael Vick arrives as the new football coach. He's a legend. Jermaine Woods comes in after Larry Vickers leads the women's program to an NCAA tournament, and he goes to Auburn. But Jermaine's well known from his roots in the 757. Just what's it like bouncing off things off those coaches and vice versa? I'm sure they've come to you for advice on things as well.
Yeah, I've talked to Mike. A couple of times, not really at length because I know he's still trying to figure it out. And like I always say, I let a coach, do their own thing. And then if they want some advice or anything like that, then, I'm always willing to be a team player to help. So, we've talked about a couple of different things. And like I said, this year he'll see the ups and downs, there's going to be highs and lows and it's going to be different as a coach than it was maybe as a player, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. And, because there's obviously a lot of fanfare and a lot of excitement. And we hope that, a championship happens right away. But usually the likelihood is probably not. So we're going to see how it's going to go up and down and things like that. But we hope for it to happen. I think everyone's hoping for him to be successful. And Coach Woods, I've known for years. So, Coach Woods, we'll come in here, sit in the same seat that you're sitting in, and we'll sit down and talk. So, that's my guy. Coach Woods is my guy.
And going back to Coach Vick for a second, just his name, it has to bring more exposure to the university. And there can be some things that are pluses, and it helps you all as a basketball program continue to grow, correct?
Yeah, I think his name helps the university, because it's more Norfolk State in people's, mouths, stuff like that, right? So you go into a room, some people know the basketball program, or a lot of people know the basketball program about what we've done, even going back to what you said about the Missouri win and things like that. So we've been kind of relevant for a long time, but then he just kind of adds a little bit more to that conversation. I think so. Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'll come more for you later on. Appreciate the time. Hey, Norfolk State and Old Dominion now. It's a home and home the next couple of years. I know it's something that's been important to you to have this. Tell me how meaningful it is to have this and have these type of rivalries between two schools in the same city and watch what the fans come out and support this.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, no matter what anyone says on either side, this is going to be the biggest game for Old Dominion, the biggest game for Norfolk State at home. So it's going to sell out at Chartway. It's going to sell out here. It might not be a sellout for the rest of the year at Old Dominion or NSU, when this thing happens, right? So this is why I've been saying that we should have been played this game for years. And then granted, we would play in moments, we would play I think we played in 21 or 22 or something.
COVID year, if I'm remember.
Yeah, played 21. Yeah. And then we'll play, I think we played back in maybe 16 or 15, 17 or something like that. But this is a game that with everybody needing to save money, no matter if you're Old Dominion, Norfolk State, Duke, North Carolina, whoever you are, I mean, we're right down the block, and this is going to be a quality game, so it's going to be a good game. I'm excited about it. A lot of people, they don't understand the whole dynamic sometimes about, because, some people still look at the NSU Hampton thing, and which is still a big battle debate. That's always going to be there. But having Old Dominion come in to our arena in 2026, and even though they came during COVID, you almost don't count that because only 200 people was allowed in here. So it's not going to be the same thing as 6,000 in here, right? So it's like, I'm hopefully, like I said, I'm around to see it in 2026. That game happen because that's a game that definitely I have wanted to be a part of for many, many years, to get them to come to Echoes in front of a packed house with the band and the fans and everything like that. But once again, credit to Mike Jones for agreeing to this. This is the first time a home and home has been agreed to. So I credit him, and I know Coach Jamal Robinson over there and the rest of those guys and stuff like that. So I credit to those guys also for taking the home and home, because no one else has took the home and home series over from over there. So I credit those guys, and we're excited about playing, and it should be fun on both sides.
Should be a fun environment in both venues, and like you said, no social distancing this time, and watch what transpires with these two schools as they move forward into the future. Lastly, Coach, give me a thought on this coming season with your roster and what it looks like. I know you do have some 757 flavor, which has been the norm here lately for you coming into 2025, 2026.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people think still brainwashed that we have like all these New Yorkers, because it's so funny, man. It's like
because of your background, right?
Yeah, because it's like I think this year we got maybe 3 New Yorkers on the team, and we signed them in the signing period. So I saw a comment, like, New York, we might as well just be Madison Square Garden. It's like, come on, guys.
But you are a Knicks fan. People know.
Yeah. But it's like, but enough already. Sure. It's like we've had outside working team camp. Jelani Darden just played here. We got Mello Baines here. We got Jordan Leaks. We got a whole bunch of people. Joe Bryan, who played a couple of years. I mean, we've had plenty of 757 Virginia people. So we need to kill the New York. That's almost silly at this point. But we're excited about this team. I think we got some pretty good transfers. Pretty good guys coming back. Like I said, I mentioned Leaks already. I mentioned Michael Jenkins, who played at Woodside. Mello Baines, who played at Lake Taylor. So those guys are going to be in their sophomore years. Well, Leaks will actually be in his junior year. No, Leaks will be a sophomore year too. Yeah, because he's redshirted. So like those guys will be all the way in their sophomore years, and it's going to be excitement about those guys. But then new guys, we've got a lot of guys I think that were steals in this day and age. So we're trying to hold on to them for 2 more weeks. Hopefully nobody comes and poaches them. But we're excited about this year's team.
Well, thank you so much. Go check out Coach Jones and the Spartans of NSU, and we'll talk again down the road.
All right.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there, because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
All right, welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by CoVA Sports TV. And we now have a special guest with us. You saw Fact or Fiction with the coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. It is Father's Day weekend, and we have our special traditional Fact or Fiction segment where we do trivia, sports-related, various topics in the realm of sports. And here with us is my own father, class of 77, James Madison University alum, Michael S. Hatfield, otherwise known as DJ Hat TV. How are you, Pops?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Well, thank you for coming on to try to defend your belt. You have beaten Ed now. Is it 8 consecutive times or 9? I've lost track.
I imagine 7 or 8.
Okay, very good. Good to know. Ed, are you ready to get whooped again?
Good morning, Mr. Hatfield, and the nut job Hatfield. That's the younger one. And 7, 8 in a row. I'm not sure. One of these days, though, he's going to slip up and send me the questions instead of you ahead of time, and I'll start winning.
No, we don't send any questions. That's not how we do this game. It is played by the book, even though Ed tries to use his phone, his device, to cheat and look up things. Now, I have to warn you, Dad, the last time Ed played this game, it was against Raymond Weaver, longtime statistician and bookkeeper for Green Run High School, and they were both going back and forth, trading punches, knocking them down, and Ed was perfect in the game. So he's coming off a perfect game, but if you do the odds, he could be due for a bad performance. So we shall see. Question is, are you ready? And Ed, are you ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go, gentlemen. 1 point per question for the 5 questions that are sports related. It's either fact or fiction. They'll alternate who goes first, and then the bonus question will be worth 2 points. And the bonus question will have to go first by the person in the lead, because if the person in the lead goes second, he or she can always cheat, copy, and that makes the game no fun. So here we go. Since Mike Hatfield is our defending champion like 8, 9 times in a row, he will go first. So are you ready, Mr. Hatfield?
Yes, I am, son.
All right, here we go. First question up. It's going to be NBA Finals related, and we'll show it to you on the screen here. Fact or fiction, Dad? Never before has a number 1 seed won the NBA Finals. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
I'm going to say it's fiction.
All right, he's going to say it is fiction. Ed Young, never before has a number 4 seed won the NBA Finals. Fact or fiction?
I got to agree. I'm pretty sure it's fiction.
Well, I hate to inform you, gentlemen, you're both incorrect. A number 4 seed, which the Indiana Pacers are trying to do, has won the finals before, but you got to go back to 1969 when Bill Russell and the C's beat that Lakers team with Wilt, with Baylor, with Jerry West in 7 games as a number 4 seed. So neither contestant gets a point. We go to question number 2. And Ed Young, you are up.
Hold on. Who won? Who won as a 4th seed?
The Celtics, 1969.
We both said fiction, meaning we knew a 4th seed has won. So we both got it right.
Oh, you did say fiction. Oh, you said fact. Okay.
No, he's right. He's right.
Okay. So 1 point each.
Fiction. See, I'm going to protest already.
No, we're good. We're good. No. You either both.
He's trying to see us both lose.
No, it wouldn't have mattered. It'd been 1-1 or 0-0. It wouldn't have mattered. So thank you for. I confused myself, but thank you for catching that. Very good.
All I say is to Mr. Hatfield, my blessings go to you because now I see what you put up with all these years.
Okay, it's 1-1. I apologize. We're all good. Let's go to question number 2. And Ed Young, you're up first. The Boston Celtics have played the most overtime games in NBA Finals history. Coach Young, is that a fact or is that fiction?
Write it down in stone. Notice.
He's pretty confident there.
Got my Celtics gear right here.
We'll see if he's right or wrong. Do you think the Celtics have played the most overtime games in NBA Finals history, or do you think it's somebody else?
I'm going to gamble it's somebody else.
Well, that gamble is a really good gamble because since you disagreed, I'm going to make sure I don't mess this up. It is fiction. The Celtics have played 10 overtime games with a 6-4 record in the finals, but the Lakers, first in Minneapolis, then in Los Angeles, 16 of them, 2 of them in Minneapolis, by the way, an 8-8 record. So give a point to DJ Hatt and no point for Ed Young. So it's 2-1. Mr. Hatfield's in the lead, and you get to go first here for question number 3. Pops, the last 2 NFL regular season passing yardage leaders failed to advance in the postseason. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
I'm going to say that's fiction.
It's going to say that is fiction. Ed Young, the last 2 NFL regular season passing yardage leaders failed to advance in the postseason. Is that a fact or do you agree with Mike Hatfield that it is fiction? Remember, if you get this wrong, you go down 2 points. Not insurmountable, but you're playing from behind. We do have a time limit. You can't take like 25 minutes here.
I'm gonna say
the answer's not up there, by the way, when you're looking to. Go ahead.
You said 2. So I'm gonna say that's fiction.
You're gonna say that's fiction. So you concur with him.
Yeah.
Well, you're both wrong. It's a fact. Joe Burrow, 4,819 yards with the Bengals last year. His Cincinnati team missed the playoffs altogether. And Tua Tagovailoa, try spelling it or saying it, 4,624 yards with the Dolphins in 2023. And his team, Miami, was ousted in the first round by eventual Super Bowl champion Kansas City. So our score remains 2-1 as Mike Hatfield will be coming up for the next question as he checks his phone. We'll let him do that for a second and bring him back on here with our fourth question. It is 2-1 as it is Mike Hatfield on top of the coach, Ed Young. You ready, Dad? I know the phone was
ringing. Sir.
Ready? Here we go. Question number 4. You're up, or who's up first? Ed's up first. I apologize. Ed, you're up first here. Question number 4. The Los Angeles Dodgers are the last MLB team to win 100 games during the regular season and capture the World Series trophy. Is that a fact, Ed, or is that fiction?
Fact.
You said that's a fact. All right. Ed Young says it's a fact. Dad, the LA Dodgers are the last MLB team to win 100 games during the regular season and capture the World Series trophy. Do you agree with Ed that it's a fact, or do you think it's fiction?
I believe it's fact because it's very recent.
Well, it is very recent they won the World Series. And that's your final answer?
I'm going to have to change it to no, they didn't, because they didn't win the 100 games. They won the World Series. It wasn't a combo.
So you're changing your answer. You're going to go fiction here.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Interesting change. We'll see if this gamble pays off. And I hate to tell you, Ed, his gamble did pay off because it is fiction. The Houston Astros, 106-56 in 2022. The Dodgers won 98 games last year. So just like that, the last second switcheroo becomes 3-1. DJ Hat's in the lead before question number 5, but not out of the woods yet because the 2-point bonus question could shift things up considerably. All right, Mr. Hatfield, speaking of those Houston Astros, they are the last MLB team to win 100 games during the regular season and lose the World Series. Do you think that's a fact, or do you think that's fiction? Ed, no cheating over there.
The key here, again, has got to be the 100 games. So, in my opinion, this is a fact.
This is a fact. Okay. Ed Young, Mike Hatfield says the Astros are the last MLB team to win 100 games during the season and lose the Fall Classic. Do you agree with him that it's a fact, or do you think it's fiction? Remember, you trail by 2, you lose this question, you lose the game. You get this question, you salvage a tie. You can take the gamble going oppo within a point and steal the game like the Pacers have stole games all postseason long in the NBA. What do you say? He says fact. Your pick here. It's a pivotal one.
Team to win 100 games. I'm going to say fact.
You're going to say fact. And just like I did with Mr. Hatfield, is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Final answer. All right. He doesn't do the switcheroo. And it's a good thing he didn't do the switcheroo because you're both right. It is a fact. The Astros in 2019 went 107-55, ended up losing Game 7 of the World Series that year to the Washington Nationals. At home, in fact. And the Nationals had Daniel Hudson, who just went in the Tidewater Baseball Shrine Hall of Fame there. Pretty cool deal at Harbor Park. So you both get a point. It's 4-2, which means, DJ Hat, you cannot lose this game. You will either win or tie. But since you're in the lead 4-2, you have to go first for our very, very crucial 2-point bonus question. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, 2-point bonus question for Mike Hatfield, nursing a 4-2 lead, like he occasionally nurses those drinks on Father's Day. Oh, not anymore. Here we go. Bonus question, fact or fiction, DJ Hat. The last Game 7 in the NBA playoffs to go to overtime was won by the road team. Is that a fact or is that fiction? The last Game 7 in the NBA playoffs to go to overtime was won by the road team. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
I'm going to have to say fiction.
All right. Ed Young, he says it is fiction. The last Game 7.
I have to go fact and hope it's right, because if I agree with him, I'm out.
Okay, if you agree with him, you're out. That's what you're going with. And do you believe that, or you're just doing it because you have to?
You know what? I kind of believe it. I think it just happened.
Okay, you think it just happened. Well, let's see here. The correct answer, 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets 115-111 on their way to a championship. They won that at the Barclays Center. So that means Ed Young did not lose. He got himself another tie as he is able to make up some ground against Mike Hatfield and avoid an L. So
neither one of us want a tie, so find another question.
We'll have to do the Redux. Part 2 of this will come on a future episode to break the tie. So that's where we are. So it is a Father's Day weekend where Mike Hatfield does not take an L, but Ed Young battles valiantly and hard. And thank goodness for that switcheroo, Pops. Otherwise, you would have taken the L today.
Yes, thank you.
All right,
congratulations, Coach.
No,
congratulations you on a tie. How about
I
that?
don't want a tie. No disrespect to DJ Hat. I'd rather lose than tie.
Wow. Well, then you should have.
This ain't the NHL,
You should have
This
agreed
is not
with
the
that. You would've let him
NHL.
win.
Right. This is not the NHL where those wussies have ties. It's the only
Wow.
sport we have ties.
The NHL doesn't have ties anymore. Not in the playoffs.
Don't they?
Soccer has ties.
I'm saying regular season playoffs, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The fact that they exist.
You don't play 80 hours of ball and then end up with a tie and go home. No, somebody got to win. Somebody got to lose. That's life.
So we both get participation trophies, right?
Yeah, see that? Yeah, that's like, no wonder we have the problems in the world. Every kid gets a trophy.
Well, we'll break the tie. We'll break the tie. Maybe we'll come up with a 3-point extravaganza question. Maybe for my birthday come August when it's getting ready for football season. We'll figure that out. But we will break this tie.
Right.
Not worry.
Do it 4th of July. Patriotic.
We could do that. That's not a bad idea. We'll break the tie and let the audience see what they think about this. But we thank you for playing and appreciate your support as always, and enjoy Father's Day.
Thank you again.
All right.
Yeah, DJ Hat, make sure you have a great Father's Day. Make sure the son takes the dad out and spends some buckaroos and not
He always
you
does.
have to pay the tip and whatever else.
He always does.
He's good for that. The check comes, he's in the doggone restroom for an hour and a half. So no, don't do that.
I drink so much water. We're going to close out this edition. We thank you all for tuning in on CoVA Sports TV, all across YouTube, our social media channels with Facebook, Twitter, X, and those that have been watching Hour 1 on Cox Communications and Your View. For the coach, Ed Young, and DJ Head, I'm Matthew Hatfield saying so long, everyone, and have a great Father's Day weekend, and we'll talk to you next time here on 757 Sports Talk.